Well, good morning, everybody. I have that it's 10 o'clock, so I want to welcome you here to the keyword signing, a method to communicate with adults who have speech impairments. My name is Hillary Ritt, and I'm the Workforce and Adult Services Librarian at the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. I am pleased to introduce to you Sally Dannenberg. She is with the Human Development Institute at the University of Kentucky. Before I do introduce her, though, I want to let you know a few housekeeping things. Today's webinar is being recorded, and those of you who attend will be able to access that recording. There are also available on Blackboard Collaborate in the course, the slides from today's webinar, and there's a handout that Sally will reference later, and that is available to you as well. Captions I've mentioned are available. You can access those through the live captioner, or I'm going to drop in the stream text information in the chat here for you. And without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing this slide and share Sally's slides. And Sally, I just thank you so much for being here with us today. So glad to have you.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. As Hillary said, my name is Sally Dannenberg. I'm a Research and Development Associate at University of Kentucky, the Human Development Institute. And we serve all humans from birth to death. So this was, I usually work with early childhood, but this was outreach to our adult population. And so I hope this will all be very helpful to you. I am going to turn off my video now because I live in Richmond, and right now, according to Spectrum, they're having some problems with our internet. So I'm going to turn that off, and hopefully you'll be able to hear and see all the slides as they go along, so it'll work perfectly for everybody. Okay. A little bit about keyword signing, and what I'm going to do is let you read the information on the slide first. I'm not going to read it to you because I know you can read really well. This keyword signing course came about when Hillary and I had a conversation because I had created some sign language courses for infants, toddlers, and preschools and their caregivers, since I mainly work with childcare. We wanted an easy to use system for both you and your staff that you and any clients that you work with. Everything in this particular course, as well as all the handouts, are accessible. We have had them check through the accessibility checkers, as well as we have a consultant that used his screen reader to check and make sure they worked. And then our very talented videographer added icons and spoken words to all the videos of the signs, so you can easily access those. What we're going to do today is mainly focus on children or on adults, but this system can be used with children. Most of the children that, if you do work with children, are probably in school and they have access to some of these other systems, you know, alternative communication systems. But we wanted to make sure that the adults, maybe those with intellectual disabilities, older adults, would have a way to make their wants and needs known. We think this system is much easier than ASL just because of some of the grammar, syntax, some having to learn particular signs, because you're going to see the signs that are used in this are probably familiar signs, things that you've seen people use before. And what we did, I have included 290, I think, signs in the videos and the handouts for this course. But there are many, many more in volume 2. I think there's over 600 pages of signs. So if there's something that you see that's not in the course, not listed in the handouts that you get, you can go to volume 2 of the Simplified Signs PDF, and you can access them there. Okay, so since you've already read this, if you wouldn't mind just typing them in the chat box some of the keywords that you think would be important to you, as well as the people that you work with, the clients that you work with. Yeah, Kelly, that's a great one. How can I help you? That I think a lot of people, and hello, just a greeting, to say hi. Yes, help. hmm And what are you looking for? Thank you for those. Thank you and you're welcome. Just those basic courtesies that everybody would like. Those are great ones too. Okay. Thank you for those. And there's plenty more signs that you're going to hear or see a little bit later. Okay, these are just some of the main features of keyword signing. When you're using those keywords, you're also speaking at the same time. You're saying the whole sentence, but you're signing the keywords. Just like when you're using when you're talking to a person, body language and facial expression are so important. And you'll see in some of the videos that I did as part of the video section of this course, there were some facial expressions that were hard to read. You could see as you were using the sign if they worked well together. Okay, there is some use of finger spelling in this and some use of symbols, but not a whole lot. So that makes it a little bit easier for those that you're working with to learn this system. Okay, and most of this stuff you already know. I mean, speaking is the most efficient and effective way that people communicate. That we've learned that from the time we were infants. Make that sound and a parent responds, or certain cries are for certain things. So by just using these signs, we can help people understand, we can help them communicate more effectively. And some people get so frustrated when they're trying to tell you something, if it's not coming out quickly, that it causes them to not be able to speak at all. So by using these signs, we hope to give them that voice that they need. Sometimes we can't understand other people very clearly either. So this may help you understand what they're trying to say to you there. Keyword sign, it's an easy way to communicate, but they also may need other ways to help them. So if you have some pictures or some photos of what they might want or need to give them a choice, if they're having a hard time reading that, that's just supplementing the keyword signing. Okay, this is one thing that I really like to talk to people about, because we basically separate language into two separate categories when we're talking about human language. So receptive language is that our ability to understand words and language. So our receptive language is not only things that are spoken, but things that we gather from our routines and things like that. So if we finished our breakfast, we kind of know that the routine next is, we get dressed or do something that we do on a regular basis. Receptive language is also that visual information. So, if we see a stop sign, it's time to stop. Receptive language are those sounds and words, what size, shape, color, and then the grammar and the written information that we see on a daily basis. Now, expressive language is mainly what we're going to talk about today, using those keyword signs to express, for someone to express and tell us what they want, what they need, how they feel, things like that. So, there's lots of objects that people are able to label. I've added medical terms for that. I've added different things in the home. We also have some actions, things that they can use to show you they want to do an action, make an action, things like that. We won't focus quite as much on putting words together because for the population that needs simplified signs, maybe harder. So we're focused on just those keywords that they use. And this we're also not going to focus on language because we want them to have those first. Okay, and answer.
Sally, I hate to interrupt you.
That we don't want,
Sally, I want to just let you know we're having a little bit of audio difficulty.
Okay.
It seems better now.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. I apologize, everybody. So I think we're having a little video difficulty, aren't we, right now, too? I'm having trouble pulling up the next slide.
Okay. I'm happy to navigate your slides for you, but yeah, just let me know.
Okay, to do that, I would appreciate it. We're on slide 7, please.
Okay. Brief history of simplified sign.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Hillary. And I apologize to all you today.
You're welcome.
Just to tell you more about what about simplified signs, started in the late 1980s by a man named Dr. John Villiers. He worked, and I can't remember exactly which institution he worked for, but the past 40 years they have been working on simplified signs. And one of the reasons I chose this one is it was so easy. There was a lot of work. The original research done with children with autism, motor difficulties. So the child with autism couldn't communicate. They also had motor difficulties, which made them use American Sign Language. In 1998, the development of the signs went on to work with older people. As one of the students at the time, and she's now a doctor surgeon in Indiana, grandfather suffered a stroke. She wanted a way to help him communicate his wants and needs. The older population here, but as I said, it can be used easily with children too. Next slide, please. And I'm not seeing the slide.
Speaking is hard work?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's up there now.
Okay. I'm not. Oh, okay. It's just a little slower for me. Thank you. I just put this up here as kind of a reminder. Now, there's several areas in the brain where language can be affected. So if you work with a person with a stroke or a traumatic brain injury, these are one of the areas that may be affected. So there may be hard for them to speak, use simplified signs. The important thing here are about the mouth. If you think about all the muscles in the cheek, the lips, the teeth, and the tongue, those that are needed, working together, it will be really, really oh. Looks like we're reconnecting.
Are you there, Sally?
Yes, I can hear you. You hear me?
The audio is kind of breaking up. I wonder, I don't know if you can, I can give you the number to call in, if that would be better, but if you're using your phone for your hotspot, I'm not sure if
Okay.
that's, let me drop that in the,
We can give it a try.
okay. Actually, I'm gonna, Kim, would you be able to give me the number to, for that Sally to call in? Thank you all for your patience. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Okay, Sally, whenever you're ready, I've got the number.
There should be a pin too.
Okay, I'll just text it to you, Sally. Okay, or the number is, sorry, 571 392
Okay.
7650.
Okay.
The pin is kind of long, so let me know when you're ready for that.
Okay.
Four.
Let me just try it real quick.
Okay.
The pin may be different for hers. She may need to look on hers.
Okay.
If she clicks like the 3 lines at the top and clicks on the phone, it should give her a pin. Lines at the top left.
Thank you all again for your patience while we're troubleshooting here.
Sure whether you can hear me. I see the slide.
Yes.
Okay. Now I need the PIN number, please.
Okay. Kim was just saying if you go to your settings.
Okay.
On your, because it may be different from what mine is. Settings and then audio video settings.
Okay.
And then phone. Do you
Okay.
see a dial-in option?
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong spot. Just a second.
Okay. No, you're fine.
Audio and video settings. Use your phone for audio. There it is. I've got it. Thank
yes.
you.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. I will put it in right now.
Okay. But we hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Do you want me to try? What would be the best way to continue?
I guess keep doing it this way, and then but we have this as a backup. Does that seem okay?
Yes. Yes, that's
okay.
fine. Just let me know
Okay.
if you can hear me again. Okay.
Oh.
So I'm not sure what you heard before, but it's just important about those 100 muscles in speaking. And, you know, if 1 or 2 or even 3 of them aren't working, it may be hard for somebody to express what they want or need. Okay. So here are just some of the causes of adult speech impairment. We talked about a stroke, a TBI earlier. You know, some people may have degenerative disorders. So if their speech slowly disappears, then they may be able to learn some of these simplified signs before that speech goes, and that maybe make it a little bit easier. There have been a few studies also about people with dementia using simplified signs or some other form of sign communication, and it does work. These signs, because they use both the fine muscles as well as using some of the speech centers, they may help them keep that ability to communicate a little bit longer. And then I talk a little bit about aphasia here, and just, you know, as a language disorder, and it may prevent people from speaking the way they want, or reading or writing some of the things they need. The one thing I did not include on here is those with intellectual disabilities. So if you have someone that has an intellectual disability, this may be a way to help them with expressing whatever they need to. I just wanted to make this point too. Simplified signs is not a replacement for a communication system that someone may already have. If they're already using ASL well, then and communicating everything they need to, then don't need this. If they already have an augmentative device, if they can use that well, they don't need simplified signs. But if at some point these systems of communication start to stop working for them, then maybe simplified signs is something that you can share with them that they can use. So if you look at this first bullet, you will see that a lot of times gains in signing skills have also been accompanied by progress in learning to speak. We see this in a lot with young children. You know, that's why we start those babies with sign language at 6 months, because as they learn to sign, they also see that it helps them learn to speak. And I think from my research on sign language, is it usually for the older infants and toddlers, if they learn a sign, then the spoken word can develop up to 6 weeks. That doesn't always happen. It just depends on the child. And just think about those brain centers that we looked at earlier. So as they learn the sign, they work on those fine motor skills, but that's the same area of the brain that they learn that they can learn to speak with. So they're helping those centers develop more quickly. So I think that's a great thing to talk about when you talk about teaching people signs. These are the reasons that the signs in both this course and volume 2 of the Simplified Signs book were developed. They have a considerable visual resemblance. They're connected to the signs and what they stand for. And when we practice some of those signs later, you'll see this. This makes them easier to learn. You know, if you think about maybe the sign for windshield wipers or whatever, okay? Think of the windshield wipers that you see going back and forth across the windshield when it's raining. The sign looks very much like those windshield wipers going back and forth. And this can bring back that memory, that motor memory for those people that are learning these signs. Okay. One of the things that they mentioned in the book that I'm not going to spend too much time on can be a good resource for those that are traveling to other countries. You know, it's like playing a game with somebody else and, you know, see if they can guess what you're saying. Charades is what I'm thinking of. So, okay. Because you probably will be teaching signs to others, I just wanted to give you kind of a brief overview of how to teach these signs. The authors of the Simplified Signs volumes talk about general exposure. So just exposing them to signs as you're working with them during the day would be one way. Just incidental approach. So whenever you have a chance, you know, okay, this sign might be helpful to you. That's one thing. You can do games and group sessions. You know, I could see setting up a bingo board. There's the illustrations for making these signs are easily reproducible. So you could make it into a game of bingo and, you know, okay, this is the sign. You could make the sign and then they could put a marker on their bingo card or whatever works for the clientele you work with. Some people have had one-on-one teaching sessions. So it's up to you what fits into your workplace, you know. But one important thing is teaching them the signs in one setting may not help them transfer over to other settings. So if they live, you know, if you're working with someone that lives in a group home, or if they live in their own home or a nursing home or whatever, you can, you know, share these signs with others. And that's why I wanted to make the handouts easy for you to give out, reproduce, and everything. And we do have permission from the authors to reproduce every part of this this course and the signs included in it. So again, we talked about having that simultaneous communication using both speech and signs at the same time. When you're teaching people signs, try to think about make sure you're using them accurately. And even though the signs you get back from the people you're teaching might not be the perfect reproduction of what you did, it's still their sign. So if, for example, I worked with a little guy with Down syndrome when he was probably about 2 years old, and his sign for more was nothing like what most people would use the sign for more, but everyone that he lived with and that worked with him understood that was his sign for more. So you may need to take a picture or a video of their sign if you want to share it to, if they're, you know, going to live or work somewhere else, and just make sure that whoever is with this person understands that is their sign for this particular thing. It may take time because of damage to the brain, damage to other structures, for a person to learn a sign. Even though you may know it, it may take time and may take multiple practice sessions. So just think about that. If you can, if you're teaching like the sign, I would say maybe the sign for ball or whatever, you know, have a ball there, because people learn better with objects rather than pictures of objects. So you know, if there's something that you can, a physical object that you can have there while you're teaching the sign, that would be much easier for the person to learn that sign. Okay. There are people that may have visual field defects where they can't see when you're making a particular sign. So make sure you're in the line of vision. My mother had a stroke and she couldn't see the left part of something. So make sure you're in that field of vision when you're teaching. If someone has had a stroke and it affects one half of their body, they may not be able to use both hands to make that sign. So think about using, you know, adapting the sign for them so everybody knows that that is their sign. Those facial expressions, again, are very important. So if you're going to make the sign for smell, you know, you could make a smiley face if it's a good smell, or a frowny face if it's a bad smell. This last bullet talks about longer presentation time for signs. What we did when we did the videos, as you'll watch these in just a few minutes, is we actually made the sign, gave a little processing time for everyone, made the sign again, and you'll also see an icon up there. So it helps, it's not the actual physical object there to teach those signs, but we do have, you know, a picture for them to associate with each sign too. Okay, and you know, I know all of you work in a library, but you do lots of teaching every day, I'm sure. So think about how, you know, what group you're going to work with, and then think about developing a plan of what and how you're going to teach them. So look at their interest. What are these people that you're working with interested in? If they're interested in sports, you know, look in that section and find some of the signs they want. Those needs. The reason I did a big medical section in this course is because I'm thinking of a lot of older people that may have a lot of medical needs. So that can help you too. One thing we didn't include in here is the different body parts, but for most of the simplified signs, they're just pointing to those particular body parts. You know, start with 1 or 2 signs and just see how fast the people you're working with learn them. and give them time, and every time they come back to see you, practice some of those signs again, just so they have them embedded in their knowledge base. Okay. And then add to them. Look at what the people need, and this just add to that vocabulary, and share those with anybody else that may work or live with this person. Okay, and this was just one of the quotes I saw in the simplified signs, and I wanted to share this with you because there may be secondary effects after they learn these signs. You may see a lot less frustration with this person, which would be so nice for many people that can't communicate. That frustration, they've got so many thoughts in their brain, but they can't share it with everyone. So this is something that I would really encourage you to do. See what what gains people have in other areas, not just their language. And then just think about the communication plan, okay? This doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a piece of paper. If you meet with a group regularly, okay, we learned this Sunday, we practice them. Where else can they be used? So can I let somebody else know that they know these signs, and see if they'll use them with that other person in that different setting. Keep a record so you know which one, and as it says, errors made. If this is them learn it, that's fine. If it's something that is their sign for something, you can leave it that way. And one of the ways you can teach people to make signs, and I may have skipped this part, is just maybe having something that they really want, asking them to make that sign. If they don't make it the first time, this is just the same way we teach American Sign Language. Show them how to make the sign again. If they still can't make that sign, then you can use hand over hand with that person's permission. So a lot of the times when I was teaching children to sign help, we would show them twice, and then if they didn't get it the first couple times, then we would ask them, I'm going to help you. Is that okay? And then we would make that sign. And then if they made that sign with our help, then they would get that preferred object. So, and then just keep, what do you see? What do you see happening? Did they learn that sign, or is it something that we need to keep practicing over again? And, we all need time to process information. And so this may be something that you'd have to do, 1 or 2 signs for a month before some people get it, but that's okay because they're learning something. Okay, Hillary, I think we're ready for the signs. If you can get those videos up, please. Okay, and you're going to recognize Hillary here doing some of the signs for us. And if you want to sign along with her, please do.
Baby. Banana. Banana.
I'm just going to bring up Sally's slides again. I think those were the, was that all the videos, Sally?
No, there should be that whole section.
Okay.
So all the people should be in there.
Okay.
all the videos that you did of the people. Let's put
Okay.
it that way.
Okay. Let me bring that back up.
Okay.
Here we go. Boy. Boy.
You see, this is similar to the ASL sign.
Brother. Child.
This was
Child.
done like you're patting a child on the head.
Family. Family. Father. Father. Girl. Girl. Man.
So this was the man for short hair.
Man. Mother. Mother. Sister. Sister. Woman.
And as you see, the woman has long
Woman.
hair. Okay, those were all of those, Hillary, if you don't mind showing the food one.
Sure.
Lisa, some of those were ASL signs. You're correct. You did recognize a few, but some of them were simplified signs.
Bowl. Bowl. Breakfast. Breakfast. Bread. Bread. Cereal. Cereal. Cheese. Cheese. Coffee. Coffee. Cookie. Cookie. Corn. Corn. Dinner. Dinner. Drink. Drink. Egg. Egg. Fruit. Fruit. Ice cream. Ice cream. Jelly. Jelly. Ketchup. Ketchup. Lunch. Lunch. Meat. Meat.
milk, milk. Orange juice, orange juice. Pancake, pancake. Peas, peas. Pie, pie. Pizza, pizza. Popcorn, popcorn. Potato, potato. Salad, salad. Sandwich, sandwich. Sausage, sausage. Snack, snack. Soup, soup. Spaghetti, spaghetti. Taste bad, taste bad. Tea, tea.
Okay. So those were just some of the many signs included in the Simplified Signs course. I just wanted to point out a couple things. Breakfast, did you notice she reached up before she brought the thing to her mouth? So that's the beginning of the day. And then lunch was more the middle. So she reached out to pick up something for lunch. And then for dinner, she reached down below the main field of vision. Also, many of those signs were just like ASL. And if you notice, some of them, they were made using both hands doing the same thing. So if you had a person with a traumatic brain injury or a stroke that didn't have use of one side of their body, they could just do that sign with one hand, and then you would know that that was what they're signing for. So this is just one of the questions that we have in this course. And it talks about somebody that had a stroke. She lost her ability to speak. She still has use of both arms and legs. She's very social and loved to cook and bake. So think about this. Who would be the people in her life that you would like to help learn this about simplified signs? And what signs would you teach her as well as her friends and family so that she could communicate what she wanted and needed? And if you want to just put those in the chat box, I would appreciate it. Okay. Lisa says, hello, how are you feeling? Any others that might be good to teach or for this person to learn? What do you need? Food signs. Yep, Heather, that's a good one. We also have signs in there for the different utensils in the kitchen. We have a separate kitchen section, so they could ask for a pan. I don't think I had ingredients in there, but those are, I'm sure, in volume 2, like flour, sugar, if she was going to do something to bake. The medicine, definitely, and if they're in pain, there is a sign, a simplified sign for pain, and so then they could point to what area was causing them pain. Okay, those are all great signs. Thank you very much for that input. Okay, just want to give you a quick overview of how to access the course if you're interested in you yourself or any of the people that you work with are interested in taking this course. Go to hdIlearning.org, and Hillary has this on a single page handout that I think she will attach. Yes, thank you, Hillary. The family of Dr. John Bonvillian have reviewed this course. They liked it a lot, mainly because we included the signs that we did and used all those icons on the sign so that anybody could access it. They have given us a very generous grant to help for the first year or two pay for people to take the course. So this course is absolutely free to anybody that wants to take it now. So if you have clients that you work with, if you have their families that want to take this, please share that information with them. Okay, once you're at hdIlearning.org, then you will scroll down, and we now have a communication/AAC tile on that home page. So you'll see that. You can click on that. You will see the simplified signs course, and this is what it looks like. If you would like to take the course just for you, click on the blue For Myself button, and that will take you to another page where it will ask you for more information. If you are a supervisor or whatever, you can purchase this for as many of your staff as you want. There is a special video on the home page of HDI Learning telling you how to create the group and telling you about how you can add people to this. If you do that, you can add as many staff members as you want, as well as follow their progress. So you'll know how far they are in the course, and if you want to get something started with your whole group and they can take it together and learn together, that would be wonderful. Once you decide, who's going to take the course, then you'll be taken to this page, and I just ask that you fill out everything completely. If you, it should be listed as 0 in the course, to 0 that you need to pay for it. If there's any problems with that, please let me know, and at the end I will give you my email address, because every once in a while, just like any other system, as you know today, there are little glitches. So if you have a problem, we have a great team that can help you out with that. And then once you're all done with that, click the place order button, and you'll receive an email from us letting you know that you are enrolled. You will require a username and a password, and this will be sent to you. So please keep that in a safe spot, because I know they get lost, and we can help you recover them if they do. I really appreciate your time and interest in this course. I hope to see you in the course, as well as anybody you might work with. We love, the more the merrier. I think we have right now 250 free courses available. So the more people we share this with, the better. And the family of Dr. Bonvillian has promised us, if we use up all those courses, that they will try their best to get us more free courses. So I think, Hillary, time for questions now?
Sure, and thank you so much, Sally. Thank you for all your work on this, and for presenting today, and for your grace and patience with the audio and so forth. We did get a question in the chat. What if somebody is already using ASL, like a library customer comes in and is already using ASL, and one of the staff members uses the keyword simplified signs with them? Is that going to be an issue? Is that a problem?
I think that would depend more upon the individual person. As I think it was Lisa commented, there are lots of ASL signs in here. They chose those because they were easy. They showed what they needed. So I think you just need to talk to the person and ask if it, you know, and ask them if this is going to be confusing or not. Because some people I think would probably welcome an easier sign to make, but others that they know that ASL well and they don't want to, you know, change it. So I think it's a personal issue.
Thank you. Thank you, Cicely, for your comment too. I'm sure Sally appreciates that.
Yes, I definitely do.
Sally, you mentioned sharing this with others, but several of our library staff work with senior adult facilities and so forth. Would it be all right, I assume, if they mention this to those staff, if they have
Definitely.
staff contacts at, okay.
Yes. And, you know, if there is something, some kind of brochure flyer that you would like me to create to send out to those that work with senior facilities, I would be glad to do that and, you know, make it easy.
Thank you. What other questions, folks? You are welcome to type in the chat. Any kind of questions or other questions about signs? I know we had some discussion in the chat about the different signs that were available, and then you saw a few of the food and family signs, but if you have questions about what signs are available, Sally may be able to touch on that too.
Oh, yes, and I should mention all the videos for the simplified signs are on YouTube. They're free to access for anybody that wants to use them. So if you have somebody that's maybe interested in some of the simplified signs but doesn't want to take the course, please go in and do that. And I just am reading Lisa's question. Yes, it is self-paced. You can go at your own rate. You can start at any time. What I would suggest that you do, because it's free now and it may not be free way in the future, to go ahead and sign up for the course, but take it at your leisure.
And Sally, the book that, or the resources that you referenced that are within the course, those can be accessed in the course. So the Dr. Bonvillian's resources that you shared, those I believe are available within the course if folks are interested in learning.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Hillary. Yes, they are. And when you can access a PDF of both volume 1 and volume 2 of Simplified Signs on the internet for free, but those are not accessible. The ones within the course are accessible, so that someone with a screen reader can use the ones that are linked within the course.
Thank you. Sally, if it's okay, I'm going to go on and drop your email in the chat.
Yes, please do.
And I'll put mine in the chat as well if folks have questions, or Sally mentioned, you know, you're welcome to, if you need help getting connected with her. I'm also going to drop in the chat a survey. You all can tell us what you thought about the webinar today, or if you have any other suggestions for webinar ideas, that would be great. And I'm going to stop sharing Sally's slides and thank the Institute for Museum and Library Services for their support of this webinar. They provided resources for this webinar, so thank you so much, so that we could offer this webinar. Sally obviously did all the work in the presentation, but thank you to IMLS. Please feel free to reach out to Sally or myself if you have any questions. Thank you all for your comments in the chat. And please, if you have any other questions, feel free to go on and ask. Sally, I want to thank you again. She has worked so very hard on getting this, the research to get this developed, and then creating the course, and her staff working on the videos to show the signs. So thank you so much. And then now she's presented about it. So thank you again, Sally, for all your efforts.
Oh, you're welcome. And I've got a great team behind me that's helped. And this also came about because we had some money left over from a grant that the Human Development Institute I had written for money from them. And so they supported me, both my time and my efforts and everything. So if you ever get a chance and need something, for a person with disabilities, look at the Human Development Institute. We have a great resource page of all kinds of different things that we do offer for people with disabilities. So.
Thank you again. And folks, I'll go on and stop the recording. But if you have any questions or things that you want to ask or follow up, feel free to email me and or Sally. And